Greetings everyone, welcome aboard. Happy Friday to you guys. April 29th, 2011, final day of trading for the month of April. I'll tell you, if you've been watching this month's price action, you're definitely excited to get into May because historically our income doubles May, June, and July. So we're happy to get out of this month of April right now. It's been a challenging month, it's been a profitable month. And of course, on the final day of the month here for us, Friday morning, we knew lots of news this morning. Right, couple news events at 8:30. We had Canadian dollar news this morning. Always watching the CAD news. That's because crude oil, right? One of their biggest exports out of Canada is crude oil. So we knew this morning we had some CAD news for crude. We had, of course, some jobs reports. Right, we had 8:30 news, 9:45, 9:55. We had Bernanke at 12:30. And so we really didn't know what to expect. It had been a sloppy week this week. Remember, we had the new Fed format this week. Last weekend was a long weekend. So we had Easter last weekend. We had the short week with that Fed format this week. And then lots of news on Friday morning, and we had Bernanke at 12:30. So we had lots of reasons to think that people might have taken the final day off because Bernanke at 12:30, some news all over the place this morning on a Friday morning. So we expected, well, we might get some good moves. We may not. We really didn't know what to expect until we opened up our charts at 7:45. So 8 o'clock this morning, we come in, we go through our morning prep, our morning routine, and what do we find? Well, on the crude oil, we found a sideways range and a wedge. And so we put together our plan of attack, and we said sideways range and a wedge, we'll sell the highs. That's exactly what we did. Price comes back down, sell the highs. Now we know that crude ended up coming up to new highs later on in the morning, but we followed our plan of attack, sold the highs on the crude. And then eventually, later on, we waited till 11:30. By 11:30, price on crude to come right back up, test the highs again. And we had been specifically waiting for price to come to us to follow our plan of attack, and we sold those highs at 11:30. And it was actually great because it was a live fast track trade, which we took together. Everyone had the entry, the stop, and the target, and everyone made money along with us today at 11:30 on crude. It was a great example where we got lots of action on, well, not lots of action, but we got the trade we needed at 9:30. And then we had to wait 10:30 and then 11:30, 2 hours later, we finally saw price come where we needed it to be. Now, it didn't need to go up. It could have gone down too, right? We were waiting for price to come to us. But again, at 11:30, we finished up our day here on the crude. Fantastic example. And again, we took that last on crude there on the fast track. That was a great fast track winner. Everybody got involved in the live trade room today, members and guests. So we made some money on crude. Now, gold actually had the exact opposite. We were waiting on gold until the end of the morning. Gold going sideways. We had a sideways range and a bullish channel on gold. Well, the initial parts of the morning were very quiet. All of a sudden, we get new higher highs on gold. And our plan of attack was, since we had that bullish channel, we were going to keep buying pullbacks all the way up. Price channel on gold, once we saw the buyers were in control, once we saw the speed pick up, gold makes new highs, we're buying pullbacks all the way up. All right, a great example today. You can never give up on your day. And another example of how important it is to let price come to you. Now, we talked about all the scenarios that new traders go through in the morning, right? We talked about this morning in our live trade room. And we talked about how one of the best things you can do for your trading is to give yourself from 8 o'clock to 11:45, right? Don't give up on your day. If it slows down in the middle, we gave you guys some easy techniques to pass the time. Right? We talked about tape reading and learning patterns, right? And of course, looking at the big picture. So we went over some ideas today that will keep you occupied, right? Not distracted, keep you focused if it slows down like this. So we got good price action at 9, bad price action at 10, and then better price action again by 11 o'clock. So waiting for that stuff, very, very important. And boy, how many times today did a client of ours in the room say, can we sell now on crude? And how many times did I say, nope, wait for it to get to our level? And what happened? You know it. Half an hour later, price got right to our level, and it was a perfect timing for us to smack that thing back down, sell the highs in the crude. Everyone made money. So wait for price to come to you. Never give up on your day. And remember, use those techniques we talked about in today's webinar this morning, 11:30. Use those techniques we talked about for using your time wisely while you're waiting for it. At 11 o'clock, we finally start to make some moves. By 11:30 here, we're up at the high. And now, remember what happened? At the high here, I tried to sell once, we made new highs. Tried to sell twice, made new highs. By the third time, I finally get a chance to sell those highs. The next slide, I'm going to show you that. But 1137, two-step pattern short, 10, 20, 35 ticks. That was the biggest winner of our day. So we sell the highs. We had to wait for it. And now let me show you guys on the next slide here. Here's what the actual price action looked like at 1130. And you can see this is a great example of how we trade the fast track live trade room. So here we are, 11 o'clock. Right, 11 o'clock, we finally get up and we test the highs. So we test the high of day and we start going sideways. Now, I'm immediately now looking at this as I'm going to sell these highs. And so, of course, I called out the trade, 26 to 16, right? But, of course, the trade never triggers. We make new highs, new higher highs again. New higher highs, we go sideways, right? There's your swing low. Once again, I say, all right, guys, I want to sell these highs now. Right, 34, we had support at 26, and that's why I said your target would be 30. But then as you see, it never triggered it. We get new higher highs. One more time, new higher highs. This time, we finally get that trade to trigger. And this time, I not only gave you 45 to 35, but I also told you if you want to hold on to this trade, take it all the way down to 30s. And what do you think happens? Bottom falls out, right? We fall off the highs, and of course, we get our plus 5, our plus 10, and our plus 15, right? Everybody making good money on that short. So a great job there on crude, selling the highs there. Had to wait for it. We waited 2 hours to get that trade.